a wonderful panel that we brought today for Judy's Room, December 4th. Luke, if you see that, it's a great opportunity for a win, well-being for all. Um, we have a few individuals that are going to be sharing, but Rangi lives and works in. Okay, I am so sorry, Rangi. I've read over it. I can't right this moment. Can you just read a little bit of where you are from? You are a consultant. Can you share when it gets thrown your way? Because I don't want to mispronounce anything. For over 20 years in transformative work with vulnerable youth. Um, he's a cultural advisor in New Zealand and with the Forest, the Ecos Restored Project. And you are full of knowledge and wisdom. And just to even hear you speak, it is powerful. So I'm grateful that you're here. And I am going to hand it off to you in 1 second. I just want to introduce all of the panelists. Uh, Reverend Luke Luke Walters. His work defines him as he's a visionary. He's an artist. He's a wellness specialist. He is a diplomatic ambassador and a Universalist Minister. Luke is the Chief Executive Officer of the Mutual Benefit Society and the founder of Global Community Design members. He also is on a part of several different advisory councils. Who draws his experience from his work planting the seeds of peace and the ripples of wellness throughout the world, engaging in myriads of communities in spirit and hope with others may come to restore empowerment and rediscover their own purpose. And last but not least, we have Nina Cherry. He has been a coach and trainer and trained hundreds of professionals in Brazil and the US in communications and leadership skills. She offers in-depth counseling for over the last 35 years. He's also a therapist. He is she currently she has an organization that combines both backgrounds, the depths of psychology and business. He conveys her beliefs that excellent leadership involves dedication to personal development. Could not agree more. She draws on her personal wisdom of lived experience, including healing and Ohana upbringing. Nina considers one of her biggest life accomplishments is raising a financially supporting her three children as a single parent. And Nina lives in islands and balances her work life with swim and a beautiful in Maui. I'm going to now go back and sincerely apologize. And I'm going to hand it off to Rangi. And I apologize. I mastered it earlier and I couldn't get it all straight, and I didn't want to butcher anything. I wanted to honor you. So could you please share a little bit? And the stage is yours, sir.
Thank you, KK, for that introduction. And I'd also like to acknowledge my fellow panelists, Luke and Nina, and also everyone that has joined this room today. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you at this time and to share with you. I'm going to just tell a little bit about myself, in addition to what Nina has already said. So, my name is Rangi Ahipene. I live in New Zealand. I hail to many Māori tribes. I've put them in the chat room. Uh, Most of my working life has been working with at-risk, vulnerable Māori youth. And in the last several years, I've involved in cultural consultancy. So I'm very happy to share with you today. I'll open with a blessing. I will say it in my language, the Māori language, which is actually very close to the Hawaiian language, and I'll give you a translation. Ko rangi nui kei runga, ko papatua nuku kei raro, ko ana tamariki kei wainga nui, ko mātau a Ngāti Rā e tūhua ana kei o koutou aro aro. Ka nui te mihi atu, nā koutou te toi Māori, ko te tino inoi nei atu. Kāori I tika te reretahi o te whāna. Āpiti te hauora anō. Nāna te takanga o ngai tāngata I te huarahi tika a te huarahi pono. Tēnā tautoko mai, arahina mai, tohu mai hei whakatika te reretahi o papatua nuku e. Haumi e, hui e, tai ki e. So translated, it's the sky Father above, the earth Mother below, the divine children in between. We of humanity humble ourselves before you. Great acknowledgements. You are the source of knowledge. Our plea is great. The harmony of earth is out of balance, as well as the well-being, because of the falling of humanity from the correct and true path. Please support us, lead us, instruct us to reset the harmony of life on our planet. Joined together, all together, united. So there you are. That's our blessing to open up the space energetically. So I'll begin. He aha te kaupapa matua. What that means is, what is the primary purpose of the theme or what we're going to talk about today? It is hauora, H-A-U-O-R-A. Hauora is the Māori word for well-being. If you divide that word into two, first part is hau, H-A-U, that has the meaning vital essence. And then the remainder of the word ora, O-R-A, has the meaning life. So together, the word hauora means vital essence of life. And this is the main purpose for us coming together, is to promote and uplift the vital essence of life with ourselves, with the people around us, and with this planet. Now, the word purpose, because hauora is the purpose or the topic. In Māori, we call purpose kaupapa, and that's K-A-U-P-A-P-A, kaupapa. So if we break that word into three, so the first part is K-A, ka. Ka means ignite. U, which is the U by itself, means sustenance or food. And the last four letters, papa, stands for Mother Earth. So the word kaupapa, translated to purpose, therefore the true meaning of it is any purpose or action that upholds the well-being of Mother Earth. So it can be said that destructive activities like mining or polluting cannot be termed as kaupapa because they do not uphold the nourishment of Mother Earth. So that's what kaupapa means, and that's its deep understanding in the Māori, meaning in the Māori language. So hauora, well-being, kaupapa, purpose. These two concepts, words, or understandings are inextricably linked to family. Wellness of people and our environment cannot be without the principle of family. Now, the Western world's understanding of family is largely centered around the nuclear family, mum, dad, and kids. However, the Indigenous view of family does not just extend into the concept of an extended family, like cousins, aunties, uncles, grandparents, grandchildren, but it covers all people. And it covers all living things on Mother Earth. So actually, the Māori word for family is whānau, and it's spelled Whanau. And the equivalent in the Hawaiian word language is ohana. Now, interestingly enough, ohana translates into Maori as kohanga. And the word kohanga in Maori means nest. So you can see the relationship between nest and family. And that's the relationship with the Hawaiian culture and the Maori culture of New Zealand. Now let's break down the word whānau, family, into three parts. The first is whā, W-H-A, whā. That means four, the letter four, the number four. Followed by N-A, nā. Nā means by, like by someone. And the last letter, the U, again, has the meaning of sustenance. So the profound meaning of the word whānau is everything in the world for the four cardinal directions, so everywhere, everything that lives off Mother Earth is family. So with that deep, profound understanding and wider perspective of what family really is that the welfare and well-being of ourselves is linked to everything in the world. And we are making a mistake if we don't recognize that. Okay, so I live here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Aotearoa is a Māori name for New Zealand. I'm actually live in the city of Tauranga, which is in the North Island. It's a city by the sea. And I just want to share with you what's been happening for the Māori people in New Zealand in recent months, last year or two. Now, I don't know if I think it went global, and that was the mass Māori protest against the government. It was the young parliamentarian Māori woman Hannah Maipi Clark when she ripped up the this contentious bill in Parliament, and she did the haka, and so that went viral. So just to explain basically why Māori are protesting en masse is because we have a coalition government under the MMP model, and we have a minority right-wing neoliberal party that basically wants to rewrite the Treaty of Waitangi, the agreement back in 1840 between the British Crown and Māori chiefs as to their relationship from that point on. And Māori in the last 30, 40 years have worked hard to gain back rights and acknowledgements that should have been guaranteed under the 1840 treaty, that up until then had been largely ignored, and human rights and rights guaranteed by the treaty have been not honoured. So in the last 30 years, like I said, we made good progress. And then this new government comes in and they want to undermine all the gains that we've had and the rights. Example like outlawing the use of te reo Māori in government departments. But the biggest one is they basically want to give everyone else in New Zealand other than Māori the same rights that were guaranteed when Māori first entered that agreement with the British Crown in 1840. So basically it just like it takes away any rights that we had. So there was a massive protest. I think there was like between 40 to 80,000 people, Māori and non-Māori, that marched on Parliament about 2 weeks ago. So my take on this is that, and I think this is happening all around the world, and it's nothing new for a lot of Indigenous communities around the world, And that is, if you look globally, the trend has been is that we have evolved socially and culturally as a global community, and within that, we've put a lot of protections into our environment to preserve our environment, and also to preserve human rights and Indigenous rights. So this creates problems for certain multinational corporations that want to access resources, because basically those resources are tied up with red tape. And so the way to get through that is to push aside all the conservationists and the Indigenous peoples, and therefore you can access that. So what seems to be happening is this particular political party that's part of the coalition, ACT Party. The leader is a avid member of the Atlas Network think tank, and I believe two of the one of the biggest patrons and supporters of that think tank is the Koch brothers, who, as you may know, were a multi-billion-dollar resources company. And so, what I'm saying is, what it's done, it's actually done the opposite to what's intended by the people behind the scenes. It's united the Māori people. We're actually looking at stepping into our own authority and establishing our own autonomy alongside the Crown, or in partnership with the Crown, which we should have done a long time ago. But this has really galvanized us. And what I believe is that without this happening, it would have taken so much longer for us to achieve what we're about to achieve. So what I just want to say in the message is that what's happening in the world, what seems to be negative, what seems to be an oppression of rights, what seems to be agreed for resources, or things are getting worse. You know, like you guys, and you know, like with the new government, Trump, things seem to be getting worse. I believe that what it is, it's the evolution of humanity is advancing at such a rate that this is the natural reaction of those that are adverse to it. So it's not going to be permanent. It's just a reaction, and that all we got to do is just keep doing what we're doing. So collectively, what do? We become part of a collective voice against activities that harm others in our environment, because the weight of public opinion is real political power. So that's one. And then on an individual level, we connect meaningfully with ourselves and with other people and our environment. So to quote Dr. Paris Williams, the definition of a cancer are cells that have forgotten their relationship to the rest of the body. Therefore, reconnect, become one. Now, much of my cultural learnings has come through my auntie, and so her name is Dr. Rangi Rose Pere. Please look her up online. She's been past 2.5 years now. She was a knowledge keeper, and she passed on a lot of her wisdom to myself. She also created the wellness model, Te Wheke. Now, Te Wheke is spelled T-E-W-H-E-K-E. So if you have time later, please look up Dr. Rangi Rose Pere and the Te Wheke model. You'll find it very interesting, and it provides a holistic model, Māori-based model, for wellness. Now, one of Auntie Rose's key messages was this: oneness of all people and all things. That's probably the biggest message that I want to share with you today. Oneness of all people and all things. And I'll further add to this: the most important thing that we can do is to shine the light of our own being. that's probably the most important thing we can do individually, is shine our own light of our own being. Now, I just want to share with you another Māori wellness model, and it talks about transitioning from a concept called kahupō, Kahpo, which is spiritual blindness, to another concept called toiora, Toiora. And toiora means living without influence of evil. So the wellness model is move from spiritual blindness to a state that is not influenced by evil. Now, this is the focus for ourselves, for our community, and for those that are still spiritually blind, because those who are perpetuating their harmful activities upon the planet and others are spiritually blind. And so if we can all support the development of the collective human soul, we will heal. I just want to give you an example. One of the most amazing examples in nature of oneness and harmony is the forest and the mycelium networks, which is the minute fungus networks that join the roots between the trees of a forest. Now, the Māori word for forest is ngā here here, Ngahere. And it translates to binding connections. So binding connections is our name for forest, and it conveys that whole concept of harmony and oneness. Let me give you some examples of harmony and oneness from a forest. So in times of drought or low water table, the larger trees will actually look after and support the smaller trees. The smaller trees don't have enough depth in their roots to reach the lower water table. So through the mycelium network, the large trees are able to transfer water from their roots to the smaller trees. So that's one of many examples of oneness and harmony and the interconnectedness of all things. And just to give you another example of harmony and synergy, here's a saying in Māori, the Māori language. Ko ngā whetū ki runga, ko ngā whetū ki raro. And what that means is that the macro system of the universe is reflected by the microsystem in the soil. So as it is in space, so it is the same in the soil. And that there's a connection between the very microorganisms in the soil and the ecosystem there with the stars themselves. Now, speaking of stars, who has seen a shooting star? There is a Māori worldview about shooting stars, and that they are a sign of significant change. Just to give an example, here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, just before COVID, we saw a shooting star. Now, the Māori deity of shooting stars, his name is Ahipene, which is the fire with the long tail. Now, let's take heed of the signs. Let's take heed of the signs, recent signs, and signs yet to be shown. So I hope that was interesting and helpful. Kia ora.
I think that was beautiful. I'm so grateful for you sharing. If it was okay, I'd put your blessing in the chat, because I think that's something that, we'd want to share. And I just want to open it up before we transition over to Luke and inquire if there is any questions or any input. Yes, we thank him very, very much. James, yes, would you like to?
Yes, you mentioned evolution. We're very big on Darwin over here. We had a guy called Richard Dawkins sort of storm the public consciousness, and we're sort of trying to sort of claw back from that because it's sort of gone too far in that direction, and sort of these things go in cycles. So yeah, we were having the assisted dying debate, and to me it seems absurd because once you sort of start talking about euthanasia and assisting suicide, you're no longer talking about suicide, because suicide is by definition self-termination. If you're getting someone to help you, then it's no longer the same thing. And so I use that reductio ad absurdum argument to counteract that sort of thing. And Merry Christmas, everyone. Sorry I was late.
No, thank you. Thank you for sharing. We appreciate it. And I would just real quick, is there any questions or any input that anybody would like to share before we transition
Different
over
you.
to our next participant?
I want to share this before I don't have video anymore. This is a contribution from one of our artists here, and it's a
Beautiful.
really special picture showing the friendship coming from our great central city where our heart is and our soul. Thank you.
Beautiful.
I'll join you on the telephone momentarily.
Beautiful. Excellent. Excellent. Well, I am going to pull up the PowerPoint so that everybody can um, take just a quick look at the slides. And so Luke is up next, and he is going to be sharing as soon as he gets on. I'm sorry that he had to transition. So I don't know if Nina or Rangi would like to fill in a few seconds. I'll start sharing. I'll wait till he's ready. And very much kind of connect some of the dots of the W.I.N of the wellness initiative. The wellness. Would you like to, Nina, real quick? Yeah, go ahead.
Trying to get my off mute.
There we go.
You know, Luke's going to talk about the big picture of W.I.N when he comes on, and you all that know him know he's a visionary, and he's actually spearheading this resurrection of W.I.N. And SAMHSA started it, and then they let go of the program, which is about wellness and the wellness initiative. And so Luke's resurrecting it, and that's what we're here for today, is this collaboration to bring it back to life and for us to carry the torch. So I think, Luke, are you ready? He's not there yet.
He will be in 1 second. The Wellness Initiative Network is also a collaborative of different folks all across the world, technically, right? International, that also really want to come together to, just like Nina said, Luke has taken up this initiative to draw many like-hearted humans together for the resurrection of the wellness initiative, the wellness initiative that truly was bringing a lot of whole health, wellness, and recovery to our communities. That we were very saddened that it got dropped. So, with that being said, I think that Luke is on. And Luke, are you ready to start sharing? He's on the phone. There we go.
Hello. Yes. Hi, KK. And hello, everyone. Thank you. There's maybe a little background noise, so pardon me for this busy environment that I am at right now. But I hope that my sharing will be impressive enough and stimulating enough to keep your attention throughout it all. I wanted to start with, if you have the slides up, that really beautiful image that you found, KK. It's a really nice spot of color to start with. It kind of reminds me of my cat in the hat that I just had on. You were able to see. And mentioning the lived experience that I have is also a big part of this entrance, because I've been in the communities doing this support work for many years. Started out in 2010, 2011 era, and the lived experience is really, really important that we can. Hi, yeah, there was a little bit of background noise. The lived experience that I wanted to really showcase is systems-oriented trauma that I have experienced over time. People that are in managed care programs, it's a real experience to be, dependent and humbled and stuff like that. I don't know how many people have that similar lived experience, but that's one of the main themes that I have in my development and my journey. I also have houselessness and shame resilience, family challenges, trying to be a father with many hardships in my way, and also some substance use in my history as well. But I bring that lived and living experience to everything I do, and it's quite different than what we see out there in the organizations and businesses and community causes and stuff. So what we really represent is something different, daring, brave, and innovative, to nourish the times with this missing element that it seems like many people are looking for these days. And I'm not the only one, fortunately, that represents this vital element. I'm also trained in peer support twice, once through intentional peer support and once through a local organization here called Project ABLE, a better life experience. So that's a really good theme too. So I'm really glad to be here with you, and once again I want to give some praise to Judy Chamberlain. She's just such a huge leader, and I'll never forget when Dan Fisher provided me with a signed copy of On Our Own at Alternatives in 2015 when I was able to be there on a scholarship for the government advisory work that I do. That was in Memphis, of course, a very important location for Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy. So the first slide after the cover image is an image of me when I'm very young. If you're able to move to that, KK. It's a little cute there. We got the matakite, matakeke. Matakite means like a visionary, kind of like explorer that has awareness and sensitivity to alternate perspectives that aren't quite the mainstream or what. And I think that's a much more accurate definition of the role, the place that I represent, and the purpose in this world. And hopefully through my, shining my light and sharing my influence, other people will feel some confidence and some belonging, like they matter too, Relevance is a really important concept for us. So you see me when I'm 4 years old here, and I'm being recognized as a Swami. A Swami is a term for a similar type of role in India, and the Hindu and Sanskrit languages and stuff. So I really love that image. He's got some interest and some focus and some courage and charisma there. A real shining light, and it's kind of appropriate that the shooting star is next to him there. Well, that's me. That's me, yeah. Shooting star. The night I was born, there was a shooting star that flashed across the sky, and that's how I got my name. My middle name is Hokulele, and Rangi can appreciate that because the names are very similar in our cultures, the Maori and the Hawaiian. Rehua is the god of the stars in Maori, and I'm so grateful that we've had this relationship over time, Rangi. similar, really, really important themes in our lives, inspiring, nourishing. So the next slide after that is a little bit of a mention of our webinar that we've been a part of. I'm going to talk more about it, about how it came about in a few minutes, but I really wanted to address the significance of coming together with this kaupapa, the purpose. Purposes unite communities, and one of the terms that we have in the Western world that's similar is intentional community. So it's very strange that I've looked around me in this like peer wellness, recovery-oriented communities and managed care systems, and there's very little similarity with intentional communities. But it's just so blatantly obvious that there's a really perfect ideal match there if we could move closer into harmony with these two models. So the next slide is the logo that we've had. I developed that. Very beautiful, very simple, reconnecting with the earth for personal and global healing, our webinar tradition. And there's some links there if KK wants to put the link to the presentation in the chat. That'd be appreciated, because then people can access those additional content pieces. We have a dream. I did mention Martin Luther King Jr. Moments ago, and so there's a big part of this civil rights and human rights and rights for earthlings message that we have, and so we're expanding our notion of ohana, like you said, Rangi, and expanding upon the legacy of the leaders that came before us. We're covering new ground. We're exploring new territories. We're really like trailblazers about what it is to be alive as our fellow sentient beings. The Earth Healing 2 extra content reference, I'm going to be referencing a little bit of that here shortly. It's really important because in our second webinar, The Calling, I was supposed to be able to present this content, but we didn't have the time to. So Oryx mentioned at the end that there was this slideshow that was available and people could access it, but it's kind of viewed as like this hidden content that not a lot of people know about it. So it's like it's special, special footage. And the next slide is kind of going into that stuff of like, well, what's different, What's this in the mainstream models, What are we doing that's different, What do we got that's so like special, that's got people's attention? There's also a link to the video segment where I'm presenting that content and the Rekindling the Third webinar. So we're learning from nature's designs, and I'm so glad you mentioned the mycelial networks earlier, Rangi. Biomimicry is also a popular term that demonstrates the importance of having that curiosity and that wonder and that humility to learn from the vast ancient wisdom that's come before us. We humans, our species, are quite new to the whole designs, actually. And that little bit at the bottom that says how can this informed nature's influence kind of alter our understanding of Bruce Alexander's rat park experiment? That's really interesting if anybody knows what that's about, because the rat park experiment was really wonderful. It was really groundbreaking and like eye-opening to increase our understanding of what causes addiction and shame and like maladaptive behaviors and stuff like that. But what's really interesting about Bruce Alexander's rat park experiment is that he provided all the natural supports that we need to be happy and healthy, but he didn't consider what happens when crisis hits, When the original addiction experiment was, rats are in these cages and they don't have anything else to do and they just want to, use the drugs, and then it's just like they wither away. But what happens when they have all the supports they need, He debunked the whole myth about what causes addiction, but he didn't introduce like those crises that happen in our lives. So that's where the mycelial networks come in. That's nature's system of caring for all the life forms in the forest, to be able to weather with resilience when there's damage and hardships that come upon all of us. That's part of life. And it's so beautiful what you said earlier, Rangi, and we're going to be visiting upon this topic again, is that we're all family. We're all responsible for each other, and that's how these mycelial networks operate. They're like, we all pull together and we survive together, That's so different than the popular models that we have today. And so the next couple slides, and I'll take a break after these couple slides to hear from audience of suggestions and questions and stuff. But the two next slides are from that hidden lost footage. And it's really, really important that we spend some time with this and see, how can we bring a more intentional community and society culture to these models and these systems. And what we have here is the circular economics, which is a really it's kind of a well-known term, but how come it's not applied in these mainstream systems? It's so bizarre. But what established the basis for our webinar is that it's not that difficult. Those of us that have the ability to see this and know what this is, how this works, we really have a huge opportunity to lead the way into this next era. So these images can help us to see what has been done before. And we want to be able to invite some people to present about these models in future webinars too. That's part of the plan. How about if we take a break and hear from some perspectives besides my own for a little bit, and then I can proceed if you like after that.
No, thank you, Luke. We appreciate it. Thank you for tying so much of it together, that we are human community, and that, the family is the core, and that we need to come together to support each other. I appreciate it so much. Does anybody have any questions or input they'd like to share?
I have one. Go ahead.
Oh, me? It's Dana.
Yeah, Dana, you're up.
Okay, great. Super glad to be here and be a part of this. Some of the things we worked on with W.I.N is wellness as a way of life, incorporating the emotional, financial, social, spiritual, occupational, physical, intellectual, and environmental, which seems to be a hot topic today, into recovering from mental health challenges, to expanding into the horizons of cultural shift in value and perspective. Is valuing wellness as a way of life, interconnecting with all other beings on this planet. And some of the things we consider, I love this quote by Mahatma Gandhi. I modified it just a little bit. Your beliefs become your feelings shape your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values become your identity becomes your destiny. And it's such a beautiful quote. And one of the things we work on is shaping identity, helping people rediscover or discover an identity that suits them well by exploring their values and understanding what it means to them. Like, for example, I value trust. I value oxygen, family life, purpose, nature, these type of things. And I identify with. They strengthen me and help me be my best self, to explore my life story and understand my narrative, practice self-compassion, acceptance, accept who you are, where you're at, and what you're doing in life, and define your values, personal beliefs. These are fundamental aspects of identity. So these are some of the things we work on in the Wellness Initiative Network, where I'm at my location in Pendleton, Oregon. And I'm just super glad to be a part of this journey with Luke, who showed me so much about networking, and including the Wellness Initiative Network, and being a co-founder with him with it. And I'm just super glad to be here and be a part of this journey with him. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Dana, thank you so much for adding and sharing, and you do currently run some groups as well. And that's a part of it, is coming together in that community, in the group setting, in the supportive network. So Dana, thank you so much. Identity, family, all of these things. Luke, are we going to hand it off?
I was going to mention something briefly, KK, and then maybe somebody else has something to say too. But Dana, Mahatma Gandhi had something else he had to say, and that's be the change you wish to see in the world. And that, in this initiating ripples of wellness tradition, is really important, because one raindrop by itself may not make much of a difference, but when you get thousands of raindrops in concerted harmony with that cadence you're talking about, now we can see how there's a strength in numbers. And so what you're also saying about wellness as a way of life, I'm glad you said that, because the next portion I was going to talk about was the history. Just a brief history, of course. But few people know that when we produced this collaboration with the National Coalition for Mental Health Recovery in these proposed 10 alternatives to the Murphy Bill, which was the Helping Families in Mental Health Crisis Act, one of those points, the sixth point, was wellness as a way of life. In our proposed 10 points of sensible, holistic, healthy alternatives. So I might not have visited that topic had you not brought that up, brother. Thank you. Anybody else have anything that they're really desiring?
Yes, actually, this is the first opportunity that I've had a Maori tribe members in the room, and I heard a fabulous story about 10 years ago in one of my interviews. And I just want to see if I can confirm it. It's about a minute long, but it was about an anthropologist that went to live with the Maoris back in the 70s for his PhD thesis. And the whole concept of the thesis was as he was living with the tribe, in that he didn't see thievery, he didn't see abuse, he didn't see anything that we see in our world. And for 10,000 years. And so at the end of his 18 months of living with the tribe, he sat down with the shaman because he wanted to know the language and the culture and become part of the community. And his begging question that he wanted to ask the shaman was, I don't understand. I don't see lying. I don't see cheating. I don't see what I see in my world. And the shaman looked to him and he says, "'Tis people, 'tis people, 'tis people." I love that so much that I went on I've been paying for that website, tispeople.com, for 15 years. And I don't know if I can verify it, but is that a verifiable acceptance of the culture?
Kia ora, Scott. Yes. So obviously, since colonization, we've had our issues because of the impact of that colonization. But traditionally, before colonization, that was very much our life. We lived in harmony. We lived in harmony with ourselves, with nature, with the resources. And in parenting was there was you never even growled at a child, let alone had physical violence against a child, because in the Maori world there's a lot of principles, values, and understandings that regulate all these human activities to enhance our harmony. And Auntie Rose Pere, she once said to me that the Maori people are the greatest social scientists in the world, and I believe that. And if nothing but making that a challenge to all of you to investigate how true that is, but you've got to also be able to distinguish the negative social impacts upon Maori society today through colonization, but look at the traditional Maori way of being and living before that. So yes, I can confirm that, Scott.
That is so beautiful. If I may respond, it brings to mind the quote from Martin Luther King Jr. that to the gist of in this idealistic, perfect symbiotic universe, I can never be fully as I need to be or am intended to be until you are able to be and become and unfold as you were intended to be. And it's this beautiful symbiotic relationship of togetherness. I love that. Thank you, brother.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's
still see a
beautiful.
couple of hands. Did we get all the hands? I see hands.
I thought we did.
I see
Because we
Scott. Did we get
go
Scott
go
Norman?
ahead. Nope, go
Did-
ahead. Yeah.
And some, I don't know that number, but somebody else was at a number, and Emily Wu also.
May I speak?
Yes, there's someone ahead of you. I don't know the name.
Okay.
541. Who's that? Hand ahead of you. Who is that? I don't have a name on it.
Oh, that might be Dana.
Yeah, I think that was me. I meant to put it down
Okay.
here. I'll find
Okay,
it.
put it down.
Okay,
And we got Scott next, and then Emily Wu, I think.
What is your question or suggestion?
Scott, I
Comment?
have Scott's hand up and Emily Wu. Who's next?
Emily, yay! I'm so glad you could make it too. A big smile on my face.
Scott, did you speak or did you have a question?
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to say that, and I begin, forgive me, my nerves are very bad. I just moved and I'm under a lot of physiological stress. There's no proper heat in this apartment, so that doesn't help. And anyway, which leads into what I'm trying to say. I am not a consumer of mental health. I broke away at the age of 14 because I had a lot of physiological problems that affected behavior. Oh, yes, this is very much on topic. Give me a moment. The physiological agony involved was so continual and so bizarre that I seriously believed I was a freak of nature. But the physiological problems were ignored. I was treated as a mental case, and of course, the drugs made everything worse. They did permanent damage. To this day, they did permanent damage. And what I needed in terms of a harmony with nature, in which I firmly believe, I'm not in complete alignment with everything that's been said here. No. I don't know if dissent is allowed, but I'm certainly in dissent with much of it. But I'm certainly in harmony with much, because basically my behavior, my body, everything was affected. And what did I need? What was my medicine? No lie. Actually, I even have some clinical evidence somewhere that I've stashed. I do have a storage area, but I've been homeless twice. Real food, which comes out of the earth, not out of a factory, and exercise. You feed people bad food, and I've seen it. I've accomplished a lot more than again, I must mention that I've gotten credit for. I would have incorporated, but that's another issue. I trusted people who were not trustworthy that were involved, but that's another issue. We could lower the cost.
Rangi's shaking his head. I wondered if he wanted to respond to what you just said, which was substantial. Rangi, did you have something to say? You were shaking your head. So
yes,
also,
no, I was just agreeing with Scott. I was just agreeing with Scott that it's real food. It's real food. It's natural. It's there's a lot of contaminants and chemicals that go into processed foods, and that makes us sick in itself in ourselves. So I just want to say I agree.
Well, even Bill Maher, with whom I largely agree, but I'll say that much. But even he did a segment on how something wrong, something maybe you have negative feelings about a thing. I mean, psychiatry, of course, it's very obvious. Are you in grief because someone you felt quite close to just passed away? Well, you need counseling from a professional. No, you don't. You need a pill to help you through it. No, you don't. And there's so many, the cost of our medicine, allopathic medicine, has its place, and I'll argue for that, yes. But it's gotten to the point where things are reversed. Natural medicine based on diet and exercise. Herbs, after all, are not just herbs, they're food. You think about it.
No, Scott, can I just add that a lot of the medicines are actually making us sick? Let's just be honest, because they give one medicine to, counterbalance another medication, and we don't know the long-term effects. And so it's kind of coming back to center and core is very much the natural way, is kind of like what we're discussing today. So I appreciate your input. I thank you so much.
Yeah.
We do have one other section that we do need to share.
I see.
So I don't know how you guys.
May I
conclude by saying that
also, we have one hand up based on the list.
we spend so much money on medicine, and it costs so much. It's getting to be it's why there isn't what's thought of as proper medical coverage, because they can't, because you walk into an emergency room, it costs thousands of dollars. It can't be sustained. But it's a lot more profitable to sell pills than to sell brown rice, millet, red lentils.
It's also a lot easier, the simple pill. But I want to make sure we get all the hands up, and I think we still have a couple of more presenters, right? And Scott, you really have.
How much time do we have? What's the time check? How's our time looking?
We're way over time, but that is okay. We are rolling, and
we can hear from Emily.
We have about
10
minutes.
Yeah.
So since you can't read in the chat box what I typed, I wrote in earlier in the psych ward of my experience in July 2022. We were not given any access to feeling and being with grass and trees. So my favorite spot in the psych ward at Kaiser was by the community room window. That was the only spot where I could see any greenery. So I just thought that was just really sad. Yeah, so just wanted to share.
That's where I'd be too. I'd be there too, yeah, of course.
I appreciate that, because we forget what the healing, green is healing, isn't it? And I live in the desert, so sometimes sand is healing.
And I can actually share with you, one of the first things I wanted to do once I left the facility was take my shoes off and connect with the earth outside, the grass and the dirt and all of it, to kind of reconnect and get grounded. And it was a natural pull. So, it's such a great need. And I think we don't realize enough and think about what we feed everybody in facilities. And I mean, we could go into a lot of different dialogue about this, but we do have one more presenter, and I want to let Nina have time to share. Luke, would you like to transition and introduce, or would you like to just hand it off?
There was still more content to my presentation. I was just going to take a moment to ask if anybody had any input.
So we're kind of on a time frame, and we're going to have time afterwards, so you can come back on if that works for you.
Okay. How about this then? Yeah. How about this then? I did forget to say that I am a trained peer wellness specialist also. And that tradition here in Oregon is really important. And I think we can expand upon peer wellness specialization around the world and embrace community wellness specialization and planetary wellness support too. Hearing Voices Network facilitation is also a training that I'm really proud of. So yeah, let's pass it on to Nina. I've been wanting to make this transition anyways because I wanted to, I know that my mother is here with us, and I really wanted to hear from my mother the very precious, special story from your memory, the night that I was born. I think that's a really big part of this journey today. Is my mother out there?
I'm here. I'm here.
Hey, yay! I'm so glad. I didn't hear your voice yet. Hey, Mom.
Hi.
Take it away.
I was going to say the story at the end, so I'm going to pick up my last page and look at my
Okay.
notes.
Beautiful.
So, you know, Rangi was talking about the metaphor of the shooting star in the Maori tradition, and so I birthed Luke at home. I live on Maui, and I am a very natural girl, and I wanted to have him at home. And it was dawn, and just as Luke came into the world, I saw this amazing shooting star go across the horizon in the dawn light. It was so bright and so powerful. And it was an omen, and I'll never forget it. So I named him Luke Hokulele-Walters, and Hokulele is the shooting star in Hawaiian. So that's the beautiful story of Luke's beginnings.
Do you remember which orientation you were looking? Were you looking north through the window, and did the star flash from east to west or west to east?
I could figure it out, but you know, I don't remember.
Okay.
I was like in the throes of something pretty intense.
Yeah.
I wasn't noticing left to right, west to, but it was, I'll tell you later when I think about where that house was situated. I don't live there anymore.
We talked a little while ago, and you said it was from east to west. I remember you said it was from east to west. Thank you.
Well, I figured it out then at that time. So I just want to say hi to everybody, and that this year marks 40 years of me working in counseling and wellness, both one-on-one and in groups. And KK was gonna, well, wait, I wanted to bring to your attention the method that I taught psychologists and psychiatrists here in the States and in Brazil, and it's called Hakomi. And the reason I want to bring it to your attention is because it's very sweet and safe and client-oriented and powerful. It's not talk therapy. And if you look up the Hakomi Institute, you can see the directory of all the therapists. And if you feel drawn to the work after you read about it more, you can look up therapists in your area if you want one. So even though I've been in private practice and counseling all this time, for the last 14 years, I've been working with CEOs of fairly large organizations. And I do a lot of Hakomi with them because they really need it. I wanted to weigh in just a little bit on my lived experience. I was raised with a surgeon doctor who thought he was God and knew everything, and gave a lot of medications to me, like what's that narcotic that's so common? Anyway, I got it when I was a baby. He would give it to me to shut me up when I cried. So I know all about that. But I had this seeming fearlessness for decades, and it actually was a result of trauma. And, you know, I'm kind of lucky that I lived through the danger that I put myself in. I used to surf really big waves. I grew up on Oahu. I mean, 3 times my height. Sharks were in the water sometimes. I rode motorcycles. I had a Harley. And I did a lot of LSD, and 10 times I did ayahuasca in Brazil in the jungles. So I guess I was so shut down that I was trying to feel alive. And, you know, those were many years ago, and I've done a lot of work because in the Hakomi trainings, you are a client half the time. That's how you learn the method. So I've had a lot of therapy, and I continue to do the therapy. And I want to do a chant. It's a Hawaiian chant. It's just less than a minute long. It's a permission chant. Liu liu ihone ka manue ka uka o kaukini ka na hele o vaihoe e komo aku ho iawe maloku aku ho iawe. So the chant is asking spirit for permission for us to gather here for the purpose of being together and collaborating for the good of all. And we thank the spirits for being here too and allowing us to be here. And we're all in harmony. And, you know, I'm kind of tagging on what Luke and Rangi have been talking about, and especially what, you know, Rangi saying that what's happening now in the world with all this, you know, challenges that we have is a reaction to the growth and the evolution of us all and all the life forms on the planet. So I wanted to share with you one of the dimensions of wellness that I want to focus on today. It's spirituality. And I want to share with you an ancient Hawaiian practice that you could incorporate into your meditation or your morning routine. And you may have heard of it. It's called Ho'oponopono. And KK was going to put some links in there about it. I use it in my chants and my prayers in the morning for healing my family and dear ones and for my personal growth. It's a practice of forgiveness. And it's about being 100% responsible for everything that shows up in your life and making amends, forgiving others, and forgiving yourself. And it's also used in resolving family conflicts. That's one of the places the Hawaiians have used it for generations. So I'm going to tell you a bit about it, and then I'm going to share the actual practice with you so that you can adopt it if you want. So Ho'oponopono means to make things right, to restore balance. And it's based on the idea that harmony is essential for well-being and that negative thoughts and feelings can be cleared from the mind and the heart. So the goal is to address our inner conflicts and resolve them so that we can be happier and more productive and positively influence the world, which, you know, this is the theme of what we're doing today. So an amazing person, Dr. Hugh Len, learned this practice of Ho'oponopono from an old Hawaiian woman, and he brought the practice into our attention in a big way. He trained, I think, thousands of students, and he was a psychologist who worked in the state hospital in Oahu. And he would use this process as a healing prayer over the files of the patients. He never met with the patients individually doing therapy with them. He just said this prayer over the files and they healed. In fact, you know, the ward that he was working with was high security, criminally insane. And he healed these people one by one until there wasn't anybody left on the ward, and they shut the whole thing down. Not the hospital, just that criminally insane ward. So, you know, it's, I'll tell you what the words are. It's very simple, and you can change the order of them as you like, but the words are, and And Hugh Lin would say this to spirit. He called it the divine, and he would say these words to the divine, to the file of the patient. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And he would say it over and over. And when he was asked what caused the patients to change, he always said, I was simply healing the part of me that created them. He believed that everything in our life is our responsibility if it's in our life. If we see it, smell it, taste it, experience it, it's ours. And how you can apply it is you can say it to anyone you have conflict with, anyone you need to forgive. You can say it to yourself. You can say it to God. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And when you say it, be in a quiet space and be open, because things will come to you that you are totally surprised about. It's like stuff from your unconscious comes up for healing, or memories, or beliefs, or it's just, I want you to be open when you're saying it to yourself, because we're dealing directly with God, and God can do the job if we just make the intention. It's all about the power of intention.
I'd like to add to your theme that we're on here, because I've got an anthropology background, and it's all about merging the ancient wisdom with in a chaotic modern existence, which Stephen Covey once said, we're spiritual beings living a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
But the Native Americans, I'm going to put this in the chat, I put it in earlier, for conflict resolution, they wouldn't leave the circle. They'd have a story stick, and as long as you held that story stick made of leather, beads, feathers, you would talk it out, but then you would have to pass it on to whoever you were having a conflict with, and you would never leave the circle until everyone talked it out between families, tribes, nations. And I made a 12-foot by 20-foot American flag with 13 stripes. We forgot the Native Americans.
Yeah.
And it travels around to different conferences that out of 750 story sticks. And then I attached my video history portraits of the people to just pass that ancient wisdom along into modern society, because we're losing our grip. Because when I was born in 1958, we had 3 billion people on Earth. Well, we have 8 billion now, and 3 billion are living in shanty towns. So we've made no progress in my lifetime as far as finding the center. And Thich Nhat Hanh is another nice mindfulness cat that I adored through the decades and that too. But just to carry on the theme that we're on, because it's a good theme.
Well, thank you, Scott. I really appreciate that input. And it means a lot to me, because Ahipene is on mindfulness. And the founder took all these different, he studied with Fritz Perls and Virginia Satir and Alexander Lowen and all these people, and he compiled it into this very elegant therapy based on mindfulness. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is that Luke and I have Native American blood. So that speaks to me and Luke too, I think, that we're part of the Choctaw tribe. My father.
I live between the Lakotas and the Dakotas, and out in the country in the backwoods of Minnesota, and the Ojibwe. But then I did documentaries on the Pomos during the gold rush. The governor put a bounty on all the Indians for $25 a head.
Oh my God!
And that's how I got blessed with it's a funny story, because they gave me a story stick for doing the documentary, and it was on my coffee table, and I used it whenever possible. And I called up Clayton Duncan and says, is a white guy going to get in trouble I said, I'm going to want to make an American flag and try to link the past with the present. And he just looked at me and goes, Scott, you're more Indian than I am. And so I had it blessed by the shaman. So I have a little certificate because I use roadkill. And whenever I'm at government buildings, I could have a fine of about $300,000 according to the rangers. But then I whip out my certificate from the Pomo tribe and go, no, it's been blessed by the shaman. I'm good.
Wow.
Now, I'm going to jump in here because we try to do the formal part of this in an hour and a half, which I think we're at. But that doesn't mean we don't keep talking. And that's kind of, so I thought if there's any formal questions, I do want to say, I'm hearing a lot of really, of all the Judy's rooms I've ever been to, and Susan Fitz could jump in here on this, but this has really brought in a lot of, we've been doing a lot on advocates and advocacy leaders, but we also got a lot of kind of spiritual, cultural, hopeful stuff here today. And I think it really, since again, Susan Fitzmaurice can jump in, but Mind Freedom is an international organization, and we're getting we got the New Zealand perspective. We got so much stuff here. And I just want to say that the way people present also reflects kind of the way they speak and are from their culture. And I used to be involved with also some Native American stuff and Alaska Native stuff. And sometimes I'd say, where do we go with this? And then somehow I realized, holy cow, there's like this message here. And there it is, right? It's not like, us white people from New York, we're going to have a PowerPoint and say, this is what we're going to talk about. This is what we're going to teach you, blah, blah, blah. But what we had here was a conversation, and it's not over. But I did.
And I'm going to put a link into the story flag there if anyone wants to witness, if anyone wants to see this.
Okay, cool. And then if there's any questions to the speakers, and then I think we'll just keep going and talking like we usually do. And I'll turn it back over to KK. But are there any specific?
Well, I was gonna let Nina finish up. She was actually in the middle, and Scott, so let's just let Nina finish up her sharing part, and then we will just open it up, and Susan and I will say our goodbyes, and we'll hand it off for a longer dialogue if it's wanted to be. But Nina, please go ahead.
Thank you, KK. So I wanted to talk a little about what we're currently doing as a project in W.I.N. And it is that we're gathering the curriculum of lots of courses that have been written about wellness, and we're archiving them all. And then we're beginning to start our for courses to be given in different situations. You'd be in prisons, could be in state hospitals, could be in therapy groups. People could do it themselves on their own with a workbook of a journaling workbook. So we're archiving the WRAP, Wellness Recovery Action Plan, and W.I.N, the Whole Health Action Management Plan, it's just called Whole Health Action Management. Better Days by Craig Lewis, the 8 Dimensions of Wellness by Peggy Swarbrick. And then what Rangi talked about today, the Teheki wheel of the Maori. And then Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which apparently was taken from the Blackfoot Indians, which I didn't know that. I've been talking about Maslow's hierarchy for a long time. you know, and the family support. So we're going to create maybe a 6-week program at first, and then there'll be added courses about wellness. And we're not going to copy anybody else, none of this rap program. We're not plagiarizing anything, but we want to read it all and not recreate the whole wheel again. But we will be adding new things like these ideas from the Maori and the Hawaiians on Ho'oponopono, and sitting in sunlight every day to feel happier, and earthing, and I don't know, whatever comes. We're gonna, of course, edit everything, but
Nina, I think Luke has his hand up real quick. I think Luke
okay,
wanted to add something in real quick.
good.
Yeah, thank you, Mom. The portion that you have my permission to lay it on thick for is the portion about SAMHSA's wellness initiative. We're drawing from these traditions, and we're occupying that space that's been vacant for so long. The wellness initiative from SAMHSA was started about the same time that we birthed W.I.N, Wellness Initiative Network, around 2013, and SAMHSA decided to close the doors on their program in 2018. But W.I.N is still alive, and we've seen this beautiful program that they just discarded along the way, and we go, wow, there's still a lot of value there. So we're issuing this clarion call far and wide to join us in this very noble mission, and I hope that you can carry the baton from there and mention that to people, like, wow, shout it from the rooftops. This can unite us.
Yes, well, we all need to do that. And actually, I presented this when you were transitioning from the video to the laptop or the phone, Luke.
Mm-hmm.
So I did.
Oh, good. Okay.
Talk about it. So, James, can you wait for just a sec? I wanted to finish my talk with a kind of a prayer chant. It's only like a couple seconds, and then we can take your question or your input. Is that okay? So I found this the other day, and I thought it was so beautiful. And it was online, and it said, my job for all of us is to confront myself over and over and over again until I am the clearest, stillest channel for spirit to exist within. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nina. I really appreciate it. I thank you all three. What's phenomenal. And Dana. Dana was on the line as well. And he's actually boots on the ground doing some of the groups and meetings and different things. And I just want to, really extend my wholehearted gratitude to all that have shared, all the panelists. And I have to also disclose that I do collaborate, work with, and am a part of W.I.N. So this is something from my heart to all of you as well. And so I'm just really grateful. Thank you so much. And Rangi, you have your hand up, and we're going to open it up to, and Nina, I want to let you know, I did put all the stuff in the chat. Everybody that asked, I put all those resources out there. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew. But thank you again for everybody attending, and we'll open it up. Rangi, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to just add to Nina's last talk in about being the stillest and the clearest to allow the pure spirit to come in. There's an old Māori understanding of the 4 bodies that make up a person. The first body is called kiko, which is the physical body. The second body is the ata, which is the astral body. The third body is the manawa, which houses the your thoughts and emotions. And the fourth body is the pure soul. Now, the pure soul, this model says that every single being, person, has an uncorruptible, 100% pure soul. Now, that's a bit hard to comprehend given the state of the world and state of some people. But that's what it says, is that everyone is a pure soul. The difference is that in the second body, which is the Atta, also exists the ego. Now, the ego wants to self-promote itself. So it wants to promote itself to the manawa, which is the thoughts and emotions. Now, if a person allows the ego to enter the thoughts and emotions, and then the ego dictates and takes over, and that's where you get into trouble and create trauma. And so basically, you've heard of a person coming into a room and they're either going to brighten it or they're going to darken it. So what that bases on is the manawa is that body closest to the harmona, which is that pure light. Now, the more trauma you have or the more issues you have, the darker the filter, the less light that comes through. And so it's all about cleaning that filter, cleaning the bodies. And when you clean the bodies, you let your true self come through. So very interesting what you said, Nina. Thank you. Back to everyone else.
I want to make sure that our participants are able to speak and contribute. I do have something to add to when there's a good time for it.
You go right ahead right now, and then we will open it up. Go ahead, Luke.
Okay, there's quite a bit of content that I wasn't able to get to in this event, and maybe that's an opportunity for future webinars. But to visit the most important points that were not attended to yet, there was 3 primary points that I wanted to cover. One of those points was covered by you, Rangi, and that is that we're successful. We got to just keep going. In the third webinar, we presented the rekindling. There was a beautiful song called the Keep Going song, and that's kind of that really, really, it really represents this powerful point that we're succeeding and they're uncomfortable, and that's why we're experiencing what we're experiencing in the world right now. The second of the 3 points was the family support element and the collaborative alliance that we've been able to realize. You and I, Nina, my mother, is just remarkable, you know? We are the evidence that this can work, that the Ho'oponopono and the Ohana, you know, we can be this inspiration, this light, to draw the people that are looking for hope, for guidance and support in our world today. The third point that I wasn't able to sufficiently cover, I did touch upon it, was this ripple effect, champions of the ripple effect, the change coming from within. I have the opportunity right now, a very powerful opportunity, to be in a place where I can inflict a lot of influence. But there's a lot of pressure here, too. It's a very dark place. I just need to say this before I feel complete. This is a big revelation, though. Please bear with me. W.I.N was started in 2013 at this location. Have anybody seen the film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson? That place is called the Oregon State Hospital. The Oregon State Hospital was considered a bastion of the conventional mainstream psychiatric corrections system. We started this tradition of wellness support here in 2013 for the benefit of residents, founded by residents. It's phenomenal. It is just exceptionally, amazing, unprecedented. And what's really amazing also is that we have the support of the system. That is just such a rare story. In 2022, at the beginning of 2022, I was experiencing some abnormally challenging circumstances. I had a lot to do with COVID-19, quite frankly. There was more to it, a broken heart and some significant challenges to getting my needs met with the conventional system. And I'm in a really good place to know what needs to be improved and changed because I'm in it. the system providing care to me in 2022 were concerned about things, and what they wanted me to do is to take Zyprexa. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't intend anything wrong, but they were uncomfortable, and the fact that I didn't want to take Zyprexa was just unacceptable to them, and they had an ultimatum presented to me. And well, I know Jim Godstein's book, the Zyprexa Papers. It's well known that taking these medications has costs, and I didn't want to. And as a result, they put me back in here. So I've been here for 3 years. And the fact that we're able to do this from this place and the circumstances that we're in is really a testament to the story that we represent. We represent the change. We are being the change. This is part of the legacy, and I hope that people include our story, our programs, our efforts in these documentaries about the history of the movement. Consumer, survivor, ex-patient. I am a survivor. I'm not a failure. You hear me? I'm a survivor. Thank you. Thank you. I love you.
Amen. And thank you,
Please
Luke.
forgive
That
me.
is guys, I don't know if everybody caught that, but that is a powerful way to just kind of wrap it up and say, he has a phenomenal point. He's there because he chose his own personal pathway to wellness recovery. But it is, that he wants his wellness, and that did not include, Zyprexa. And so even that he's able to get this message of hope out from behind those walls is so powerful and should speak to the heart of all. We all can come from different faith backgrounds or different spiritual perspectives, but we can learn, grow, and heal together, and really take up all these wellness. So I just want to celebrate this because that is, I believe, Judy's Room's first that there's an individual presenting. So I think we should be incredibly proud, incredibly grateful, and that we've broken down some of those walls. And so thank you all for joining. I'm going to hand it over
my petition's been
for those
forwarded, so
questions.
thank you for that.
Absolutely, James. Absolutely. And
everyone have a very Merry Christmas. It's nice to feel connected to this place.
Yes, James. Merry Christmas to you too, and we appreciate it.
Cool.
If anybody
Susan,
likes verses,
are you still a host, Susan? Just because last month we got cut off.
Oh.
No.
We're good? Okay.
I made sure this time, sir.
Okay.
Just one last parting gesture. If anybody has a love of verses, parables and such, I was going to invite people to look into these powerful words, in addition to the stone that the builder refused shall always be the head cornerstone, which is, the Wellness Initiative, but also Luke 17:24. If anybody has a love of verses, check it out, because that's why I asked you, Mom, which direction the shooting star went in the sky. Check it out, Luke 17:24. Kind of make you raise an eyebrow, maybe. what we're part of. Thank you. Blessings. We're a miracle. Becoming.
And Dana, we keep the room open until the last person standing, so we have plenty of time.
Mostly it's an issue at this point. We turn the recording off. So if there was stuff that you wanted to share, but you didn't want to share